committed to, for instance, during the design stages with using the BIM or test fit or any other software just to simulate certain assumption rather than dealing with the static assumption. This concept has changed. How that will be evolved and would it be adaptable? I believe yes. Just capture this picture where you design a city. During this process, you have the tool to have the digital version where you start simulate every single factor in this city to make sure that it's working. And one element, I'm just talking from the developer side, which equally important for the designer side, rotating 15-degree a building actually resulted in a reduction of, let's say, 30% of the running costs for other energy. But take it to the next level where the city by itself can adapt and do a self-simulation. If the shape has changed, the population has changed, I believe it will take some time to reach that level of sophistication. But it's there. But again, one key parameter is the prediction for the human being behavior. I believe it will be very difficult to plug it within the equation. Thank you.
But I think the government can also play a role in that.
Fundamentally, actually, if it is not incubated by the government, because the source of data at that point will be feeding from the government source. So from regulation point of view, from regulatory specifically about the data security and cyber security, if that will not interlink and integrated with the government level, I don't think that will work. So it's a collaboration again from the macro level at the company, at the government level, country level, into execution level.
Because like recently I had a meeting with the mayor of one of the cities in Indonesia. They've been working on such proposals for data-driven urban ecosystems, along with the private. So there's going to be like a PPP model, a private-public partnership model, where the people get the benefit out of it. Cities become much more livable. Talking about user comfort, pedestrian comfort, and smart mobility solutions as well. When we see traffic as a major issue in major cities, which, for example, we're talking about Vision 2030. But I think we have not addressed mobility issues. So that is one thing which we can have a separate panel discussion. So Alberto, I'm really interested about King Salman Park, and why, in the sense, is that it has redefined the green urbanism in Riyadh, and say in the Middle East as well. So on a national policy level, how do you think that can form a framework for urban design and urban planning?
So it's a map part from the initial design ideas or from the concept has always have its goals to be kind of aligned to the 2030 vision, to be sustainability and for the quality of life, and those has been the parameters for this design. So Kinsaman Park will become one of the biggest urban parks in the world, and to do so, as we have already said, we have applied all these tools and examples that we have talked about. So for this park, the irrigation will be used by treatment, 100% treatment to the water. The treatment plant within Kinsaman Park itself will be part of the park because it's an underground system that will allow people to really enjoy it as a public space. The irrigation system has been data-driven with reduction of irrigation as much as possible. The selection of plantation has been done, selecting native species with reduction of consumption of water, but always as well with the frame of creating spaces for people, in the sense that the plantation and the goal for plantation is to create shady spaces that will create this microclimate for people to enjoy the comfortable public space. But Kinsaman Park is more than a park. It always offers the frame of what is the living in the future in the area, the desert city. That's why the compactness that we talk about, the continuity for living spaces in the public realm of the urban quarters, for the offering of living within Kinsaman Park is always interpreting the roots of the traditional culture of Native urbanism to implement modern spaces and modern quality. And these spaces link together with the park. So, as Andrew mentioned, this has been a big effort, an interdisciplinary effort, in the sense that we both architects, landscape architects, the public sector, and engineers, we have worked together to try to implement as much solution as possible within the park, but as I already said, always trying to keep people, quality of life, those elements of Vision of 2030 are the main goals of the design.
Well said. I think talking about frameworks, Andre, could future Saudi master plans have and evolve as adaptive frameworks, not just on a city level but on a national level? And can it get updated based on real-time environmental and socio-economic data? Because socio-economic data is something which is crucial for master plans and other well-being as well. So,
yeah, I believe that going back to Wally touched a bit on that point. Definitely, master plans need to be flexible, adaptable. Previously, you used to have a piece of paper and a set of guidelines that would be phased out into 10, 20 years when it's more of a strategic plan. And even on master plans, you have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. The actual data that we are gathering now allows us to look and validate a lot of that, and validate the trends, validate how population is doing, social data and social apps data also is now informing a lot in terms of placemaking. There are a lot of strategies can be done by that. So definitely looking at the 2030 and looking even beyond, when we're looking at master plans or strategic plans, the data is essential, and how we simulate those, be it a virtual city model or anything like that, a digital twin, we can predict a lot of things. But again, going back to that human scale, we cannot lead data to drive the design of the human aspect.
yeah.
That's the only thing. We need to, yes, we can design for better mobility, we can design for future mobility, we can design for catering of growth of population, all that. But then we need to go back to the other scale and to the human scale and do that integrated approach that we were talking, Koresh was saying, that we do not lead that the data drives the overall output, but it's part of the process. And I think that there is definitely leeway to do that, especially now is the right time to start having that data approach.
I think we're running out of time. Could you add a few words, Koresh, because he mentioned about your statement? Just a few words, we're running out of time.
We're running out of time. I don't really have much to say. Let's leave it on Andre's wise words, and thank you all for coming, and I hope we all got something out of it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for all the panelists to be very patient and getting to the point, and I would like to thank all the attendees as well for your patience and support. Appreciate it. Thank you, Deseart Architecture Forum, for having such an amazing platform, bringing in all the experts. Thank you.